What up, everyone? Your one and only Luigi from Street Billionaire Mentor. The investigation is deep, everyone. The CIA wants me. They send me to the chair directly through them. I heard the FBI is also out there watching and listening and learning new things. Rolls Royce. But everyone, what I have for you is information that you guys are gonna be amazing. Project Blue Gods Project. And I know it's gonna be like, whoa, I never expected that. Listen, you know how they became so rich through the music industry? Because they abused the adoption family that raised them. Let me elaborate. Now that I'm being returned to my original family, which is the gods, through the deep state, through the matrix, in peace. You see the mafia code? Everybody's realizing that telepathically they got rich abusing the adoption family that was in charge of raising me and keeping me protected so nobody bothers me for when my mission rises up. Lo que niño, un galactic los niño. And that for you people, it's a real talk. They got rich abusing the adoption family, and I'm the main host. That tells you a lot of details based on the way of life they live with that playful consciousness. How they move, like abusing the adoption family as an example. It's like, what is Colombia going to cook today? And in the process, analyzing from behind the scenes the whys and the because of why she want to create that taste for the day. That's that level of psychology, abusing adoption families. Why is that important for you people to pay attention in a very interesting way like this? Because when the world completes its evolution that we live in simulations, to get them out of the picture, you have to make sure they don't do that to your kids. Because remember, it's a system. They implemented a system on top of the adoption family to abuse the host. And they're trying to just jump that system around through anybody once they target. And you got to pay attention to the details because we live in a very smart world. Let me elaborate. The red and the blue corner on the host. If I'm standing in the red corner, you don't want them passing by, in which they're just going to link magnetically that system that it's from within quietly. Because that abuse they created is all related with an electromagnetic connection system. Look at Shorty. Remember, Shorty saw her soul. She's her bone. That's why she got in my grave, because they got marathon and mass evacuation. Remember, the music industry mission is completed based on how I came at me. And they got in my grave for disrespecting the scene. For looking for advantage against me ahead of time. In other words, for abusing the green card, they abused the government under the statute, you know. That's why this is the gold card with green card benefits based on what they did. Look at the slave system. You see the slave system? Because I'm ascending the planet with other planets, and it's at it. And remember, we created a pacto to complete the ascension of the planet and to expose the satanic realms and satanic governments that are taking advantage of the future, of the new earth, of God's timing. You know, I wanted to share that with you guys because I know, look, Rolls Royce again, because I know once you sit down with them facts, and you start to decode through that, you're going to receive from God more synchronicities. Because remember, it's a planet matter. Through the United States, they abuse the country. And they're interbreeding matter. Georgia Guidestones, through the phone. Like I was saying to all of you, the game starts at 11 a.m. and ends at 11 p.m. and close after that. Because they overpopulated. Lying about the truth. Look at the Rockefellers, the owners of the United States. You know what I mean? That's my suit and tie in their world. Because my suit and tie on this side of the bell has a different tone, different looks from BMW. Why? Because that telepathy approach that I'm expressing is what they've been using to block anybody through hostility. And now that I find out quietly by educating myself, it's important that you guys pay attention because life is not a game. Life is not a joke. Life is not a gamble. Gambling is a skill for a moment. For example, you see that code? That's technology signed from gambling. Drake that's been listening around because he knows they're gonna crash that. They're gonna crash that game. They're gonna implement on the new Earth simulations with the technology. And since the technology works uniquely different per host, it's important to ascend the planet. And not just that, remember Bernie Sanders, he believes in science and he's gonna work on fixing the infrastructures. Why? Because believing in science is understanding the inner breathing system. Believing in science is understanding that other side of the veil. Because this is the spiritual realm. This is where they take from to create a new normal. And nowadays it's an electromagnetic thing. That's why the magnetics of the planet change. That's why it's important for you guys to know how it happened. Because I'm the king, the phone is undefeated, and they hide me through the phone. And that's how they hide me through the phone. Abusing the adoption family. Knowing when to implement fear on the adoption family. Knowing when to be stupid to the adoption family. Knowing when to be disrespectful to the adoption family. To link that play for shit. That's just looking for reactions. Remember, because they were hiding chosen ones in rounds of illusion. And this is a spiritual thing. We all gotta wake up. You know? Look at Rufino and Red Bull. Look. Genesis. I'm telling you, everyone, but I wanted to share that with you short and simple because the more we continue to ascend, the more we're gonna discover. At the end of the day, the game came out wrong. They tried to look for advantage against us. Many are gonna be caved. It's mass evacuations in Marathon. After that, smart cities and kingdom in the waters. But the game came out wrong. They tried to look for advantage because they try not to be unplugged. The players that gave up on their ascension once upon a time and tried to repeat themselves where they don't belong, stealing essentials, stealing Merkaba codes. You know? Stealing positions, in other words, in the game. And that's why everything is evolving, because Hollywood now understands that through the phone power that is undefeated, they can remove from genetics that realm that they've been wanting to remove since the 60s. Look at the league. And they owe the league a lot of money too. We're not alone, you guys know that. The league, the arena. I'm not lying, baby. You know you my spirit soul. That's people. People is one of my spirit dog. And look at my heart on the computer, because they abused the computer. And remember, they made a computer out of my high school crush, Coco. Look at my tablet. That tablet's not for them, that tablet's mine. I am not lying to you guys. It gets better. It gets better and better and better and better and better and better and better. Because we didn't create the downfall, they created. We explain it. Look at Otani. Look at the Netherlands. You know? And you see the bag with the color of burgundy? Because they know they are peak. The Netherlands control the hidden regimen at its best. Look at Topi Praje over there. That's what we're dealing with. That's why many are gonna pop, gonna be reharvested under us, so they can do the right thing in their game. Because it's not true that game is gonna be above us. That shit is under us. We are spirit beings. They're stuck in rounds playing that. They need to reset, restructure, upgrade their simulation, and understand how the simulations are evolving to evolve with the process. Because at the end of the day, we are sending the earth, we're erasing the light, and we're curing Mother Earth. How? Nature surgery, quantum healing, and Bezos operation. Remember, I'm a military advisor, not just the king. And the CIA aligned me to the chair the right way. I'm dealing with things that not even my mom believes this is real. Look at the table on logo. Project Blue, Blue Project. Their Project Blue, I'm Blue Project. The final reversal. To come back home the right way. There she is, the 830 baby. That's like Weeper from 830. We go way back over here in Brickell. This is not a joke. And remember, I've been jumping all around the country. They even had men frog on my phone screaming crazy in communities. Blue Project, they don't have it like this. You know? Why? Because they never did the work from within. They never invested the time to be with the group one people. They're abnormal, they're duality, we're normal, and we're excellence. an abnormal that prints from normal to create a new normal. And right now, based on everything they did, they became an inflation problem. Look at Poseidon. They became a climate change problem, a liquidity problem, because they're not from the offices. They got to come out the offices and go back to where they came from. Why? They're satanic content creators used to criminals. We did an investigation about how they lean it in their genetics, how they stole someone else's future. They're identity thieves. They stole my identity. Look at my grandma Colombia. And we gotta understand all of that, because we need to make sure they don't create a food change on top of smart people like me. Your one and only Luigi. Until the next one, everyone.